You know, years ago for a blog that I was writing for, it was a mom's blog, I was asked to write and compare the food cost of eating all organic with conventional. And in that, I watched a great video by Jamie Oliver. He had basically taken a family who always ate takeout, and he provided an organic meal for a quarter of the price they spent on a fast food restaurant. So that was very inspiring. And so what I did was I broke down the cost of my meal for me and my kids all the way down to the last penny. It was $6.37 per person. And this was organic chicken with quinoa and vegetables. I included even the seasonings, the olive oil, you name it, it was included in there. That's all we spent. And interestingly enough, I deal with clients all the time where I go in and I clean out their pantry. And I'm trying to convince them to eat organic, and they're looking at me saying, that's way too expensive. I'm sorry, I'm not spending my money at whole paycheck. But here's the thing. When you end up going through and cleaning out the cabinets and you recognize that there's, you know, expired Cheetos or some kind of like baking box thing that they bought it, I don't know, 10 years ago, but it's still there. There are so many things that people keep in their pantry that should have been thrown out a long time ago, but what happened was they went to the grocery store, more than likely they were hungry, and something just seemed appealing. Oh, look, I've never seen this before. You know what? I'm gonna buy it and taste it and see how it works. Then they took it home, they tasted it, and they're like, yeah, that's not for me. You know what? I'm gonna save it for Uncle John because he eats everything. So I'm just gonna save that, stick it in there. And all of a sudden, the pantry is overflowing with all of this stuff. So now, if you were to go in and add up all the dollars and cents of all that stuff they bought, you'll start to recognize that, you know what? $6 and change is really not a lot for eating all organic. In a perfect scenario, you should have your refrigerator that, let's just say you buy all your groceries on a Monday. By Friday or Saturday, the refrigerator should be almost empty, to the point where you have to go to what's called backup, and I call backup the freezer, and then you start again. The refrigerator should not still be stocked with, 12 different kinds of salad dressings, most of which you don't even eat, some of which are expired, and all that you're saving because you think that, oh, I don't want to waste my money, so I'm not throwing it out in case someone will eat it. Everybody does this, and I'm going to tell you, when I've gone in to do pantry cleanouts, the funniest thing is I actually have to leave with the garbage bags of expired and gross food, because if I leave it in the house, it will get back into the pantry. It has never failed. It's hysterical, because people start going, oh, that's a lot of money. I spent a lot of money on that. I can't, someone's going to eat it. I know it. I don't want to waste food. Well, there's food banks out there. You can definitely give it to the food bank. But now it's about trying to figure out, well, what is the best way to eat? So when you come to me saying, hey, eating organic is way too expensive, please recognize, actually it's not. It really isn't. Now granted, you can buy conventional eggs for $2, and I spend $7.50 on my eggs. But now here's the other part of this, the other piece of this. I barely go to the doctor, right? Where other people, they go to the doctor all the time. My eggs are filled with essential fatty acids, which actually feeds my brain and is really good for my skin, where those conventional eggs aren't. So when you start looking at the nutritional quality of the foods and how that nutritional quality is now going to translate into your own health and well-being, it's going to minimize doctors' expenses. So now if we kind of tally in here the amount of money spent on doctors and prescription medicines and all this other kind of stuff, right? Then we're going back to realizing that, you know what, eating organic is not that expensive. It really isn't. And when we can get ourselves in a flow of cooking and eating the right foods, then we'll start to go through that whole system where food is not stockpiled in the refrigerator, it's actually used. And in the perfect world, you start to learn how to batch cook and then freeze some things. And at the same time, you learn how to, I call it translate. You translate one meal into the next. So in theory, if you cooked an entire chicken on Monday, on Tuesday, that chicken be shredded up and put into a salad. On Wednesday, it can be shredded up and added with marinara sauce and made into a pasta. So there's ways of translating one meal into the next where it doesn't feel monotonous from a taste point, but yet you're utilizing all your foods. And then again, we're not wasting. And so it actually becomes cheaper for us to eat healthier than it was the other way around. I know it sounds strange, but when you do start adding all this up, that's the way it goes.